I am learning a new keyboard layout. You might be asking which layout? Why? Don't you have enough stuff going on already? Those are all very valid questions which I will try to answer. So first, which layout am I learning? Well, I have decided to learn Colemak, the DHM variant. There are a few reasons why I chose this over Dvorak and other layouts. For one, it's extremely efficient with the most used letters being in the home row. And this layout is actually more efficient than Dvorak, and people have proven that this layout can also be faster as well. But I mainly chose this one because it keeps shortcut keys in the same place, and that's something that I use extremely often. It lessens the learning curve too, making it easier to learn if you already know QWERTY. If you don't know what I mean, these 10 keys don't move at all. These are also used for things like cut, copy, paste, undo, etc. Besides this layout being more efficient than QWERTY, there is another big reason why I'm putting in the time to learn this. It is time for a story. So, when I first got my own PC to play games on, the first mechanical keyboard I had was just some random brand with blue switches. I'm actually going to put it up on the screen right now if I can find a picture. My typing speeds were probably around 100 to 120 words per minute with like 99 accuracy or so. I don't know, I was really good at typing. The blue switches just really made me feel confident in my typing, and if I brought that thing anywhere with me though, people would have definitely gotten annoyed. Anyways, fast forward a few years, I find Osu, start playing it, it's a pretty fun game. I realized just how bad blue switches are for it, so I do some research to try and find out what the best switches would be for the game. It seems like the general consensus is to just go with reds or browns. I had seen a few people talk about the potential of speed switches, but not a lot of people had really tried them, so I saved some money from working at my job and I went to Best Buy on a search. I wanted to leave there with a keyboard that had either red or silver switches. By the way, speed switches are sometimes referred to as silvers, so those are interchangeable. Anyways, I found what I was looking for. There was a Corsair K70 with the shiny new speed switches. I didn't even think twice about picking that bad boy up and bringing it right to the checkout. One very expensive purchase later, I was ready to be a real gamer. I set up the K70 and instantly felt the gaming power of a name brand keyboard with real Cherry MX switches. Honestly, the transition was pretty smooth, with me lying to my parents about how much it cost. But that was in 2018, it's now 2020. After my years with the keyboard, what would I rate it? I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, the keyboard itself has great quality, great software for the lighting, normal keyboard stuff. The thing that has affected me the most is the type of switch. Honestly, if I could go back, I'd probably go get a brown switch keyboard or something. So let me explain some of the ups and downs of speed switches. Here are some of the upsides. They're fast, they're not very loud, they activate very fast, and they don't require a lot of activation force. These switches are basically reds, but they're faster to activate. Again, good for Osu where timing is important. Now let me give you a list of the downsides. They're fast, they activate extremely fast, they don't require a lot of activation force. Yeah, all the upsides are pretty much downsides too. Apparently quite a few people had issues with keys double pressing and stuff like that. I've never personally had these issues, but I think what happened to me is much worse. This keyboard alone ruined my typing speed. Because the switches activate so early, just barely grazing the tip of your finger across a keycap will activate it and type a letter. I was 100% confident in my typing before this keyboard. This keyboard just threw all that out the window. My sentences started having extra letters that I wasn't even trying to type because I just barely grazed the keycap. It became such a problem that I had to intentionally type slower to try and type accurately. And even then, it wasn't much help. I didn't really think this would have any long-term effects on me, but I actually ended up changing my typing technique to try and get around this flaw. That has been another downfall for me. I don't keep my fingers entirely focused on home row like I used to, especially my left hand. I tend to type a lot of the letters on that side with my index finger specifically, so that I don't accidentally bump into other keys. While I won't say it's painful to type like this, I just feel that it's time I change back. My typing speed has suffered a lot because of it, and now that I'm on a keyboard with less sensitive switches, I find myself going too fast and hitting wrong letters sometimes. So I told that whole story to basically say I'm learning this new layout that is much more efficient than QWERTY in hopes that my speed, and more importantly, my accuracy will improve again. I've already noticed in the week and a half I've been practicing that this layout is just a lot more comfortable too. I feel like I barely have to move my fingers to type words. It's actually super cool. Now, as for why I went with Colemak instead of Dvorak or something else like Workman, I chose this one because it's more efficient, of course, and hey, if it's easier to learn, that's just a bonus. So far, I'm about a week and a half into this learning process. I've only been putting about 20 minutes into this every day, so not a lot of time, honestly. I'm not expecting to learn new muscle memory fast. I know it's going to take a while, unless I start dedicating more time to it. Anyways, I just wanted to make this video as a way to maybe spread some knowledge that other layouts exist, and also as a bit of a progress tracker. I'm going to record some typing tests every week or two and eventually make that into a video that shows my progression. Of course, I won't be typing fast for a while, but being comfortable is what really matters to me.